Hello and welcome to Internet Marketing Revealed. My guest today is Martin Price. He's a marketer from the UK. He's been involved in online marketing for approximately the last 2 years, although he did look into it about 10 years ago, but didn't follow through with that at the time. So we're going to find out why that was in just a little bit. He's got a couple of offline businesses. He's also involved in affiliate marketing. He provides services for local companies, and he's created a range of his own digital products. And he's soon to be publishing a book. Where he finds the time to do all of this stuff, I'm not quite sure. But again, I'm sure we'll find out during the course of this episode. So, first of all, welcome to the show, Martin.
Thank you so much for having me on. Really appreciate it. And it's an exciting project that you've got started.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really intrigued to have you on actually, because I know we've been connected on Facebook for a little while, but I don't think we've actually ever really spoken properly other than commenting on each other's posts and that sort of thing. So I think this is a great opportunity for me personally to find out a bit more about you and what it is you actually do online as well. So before we get into your whole backstory and why you got into this online marketing thing, you described yourself as a multi-potentialite. I've got absolutely no idea what that is, so I'm hoping that maybe you can enlighten us here before we get into everything.
Yeah, no, do you know what? I stumbled upon, as we always seem to do, don't we? I stumbled upon a TED Talk video by someone, and I can't remember what the hook was, the headline, but it was fantastic, and it was um, about being a multi-potentialite. So I watched it, and I was like, "Oh my God, that is just incredible!" And I actually put a post out on my Facebook not so long back, but as with all of these things, you're in the lap of the gods, aren't you? Of whether it takes or not. I thought it was a stunning post, amazing content with a hook and all of that, and an image. Hardly any engagement on it, but the ones that did were like, "Yeah, that's me." But it's basically, we've got multiple facets to us and our personalities, and we've also got potential across some of those facets of our personality, of our characters, of our strengths, of our challenges and areas for development. So it's basically saying, where do you want to hone your skills across those multiple areas, with the potential then to potentially get something going in a direction and make something of it from a passion. So yeah, that's what the multi-potentialite was all about, and I'd strongly recommend go and search it out if people are TED fans anyway.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that then, because when you put that in as your description, I was looking at it, I was thinking, what on earth is that supposed to be? My initial thought was, is it one of these elaborate monikers that you can give yourself to make you sound a bit more exciting than you actually are? You know, when you're woken up every other week by those waste disposal consultants
Yeah.
out in the street emptying the bins, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so thanks for shedding a little bit of light on that, and I'll have to look into that because it does sound interesting, and it is right that we do all have these multiple facets to ourselves and lots of different skills that we can draw upon. So before we get into the online marketing side of things, and can you give us a bit of info about your backstory?
Yeah, so I mean, I was always into things at school. Gary V always talks about selling baseball cards and things like that. I always remember swapping football cards and things and marbles and all of that kind of stuff from school. So you look back now and think, actually, wasn't I entrepreneurial back then? There wasn't a word entrepreneurial, I don't think, back then when I was a kid. But I look back now and I think, yeah, maybe I was. And as soon as I was able to, I was delivering newspapers because it's the cliche backstory, isn't it, of poor upbringing, all of that kind of stuff. But we weren't penniless. My dad was out of work for 10 years, and my mum was the breadwinner. But they couldn't afford anything, so I had to go out and earn the money. So as soon as I could, deliver newspapers, and I had 2 rounds in the morning, 2 rounds in the evening, and it was like £20 a week. And we're talking a good, how old am I? 50. So 30, 40, 35 to 38 years ago, when you're 12 or something. And that's a big amount of money for a kid my age. I actually wanted to be, of all things, a professional footballer, as most kids do. I played semi-pro, local town level and things. I'm not saying that I probably wouldn't have ever made like Premier League or top divisions or whatever, but my parents persuaded me to get an education, would you believe, and said you can do sport and football at the same time. As a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, you believe what they're telling you. So that's exactly what I did. I went and got an apprenticeship with Tarmac doing civil engineering. They were paying me to go to college, and then I'd work for them over the summer and things. And I was playing football at the same time. Um, but at the same time, you find girls, you find alcohol. And so I got in with the wrong crowd, and the football, I still did okay, got paid to play, and it was fantastic. But I talk about it now with my cousin because we still reminisce about that, and that's both of our biggest regrets of how stupid we were as teenagers. And yeah, so the football thing, I carried on playing, got to a certain level, fairly decent, but I was always looking for something else. And this is where I told you before, David, the story about how I stumbled into internet marketing at the time, 10 years ago. I went to a small town in the UK called Peterborough, and there was a few people on stage, but one that stood out was Russell Brunson. And at the time, I'm like, ClickFunnels wasn't even a thing actually. So I thought, damn, he knows his stuff. He presented really well. For me, my thing is coaching, I guess, and finding what people's challenges are. I found some affiliate programs that I like, and so I can promote those. But more so, I've built my own programs and services now, and we also discussed the fact that I had my builder here a couple of years ago, and we got talking about social media marketing and things like that, and I just gave him some ideas, and he's like, how much would it be, for you to run my social media across a couple of platforms, build a website for me, update the website regularly, blah blah blah. And without the blink of an eye, I just thought, I don't actually know, but probably 10 grand, something like that. And he didn't bat an eye either. And these are the kind of clients that you want, actually. You want to be talking to people that don't see it as a cost for you to build their social media out. Whereas, and we talked about this beforehand, didn't we? I have started authoring a book. I'm only halfway through it. It's on hold at the minute, but it's called Tire Kickers and City Slickers. The tire kickers are just the freebie seekers that think they'll build a six-figure business from zero investment because everything's free online. Like, you've got Google, you've got YouTube, you've got Facebook. It's all free. So why do I need to pay 10 grand out? Whereas my builder was like, if that gets him 20 grand in a year, that's 100% return. Apart from crypto, potentially, where else are you going to get 100% return on your investment? So he saw the benefit of it. So that's a few of the things that I do: my own programs, affiliate programs, coaching, either one-to-one or building out, for local businesses. That was a very long-winded story. Apologies.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to pause for breath, but I'll just let you go for it.
Sorry.
No problem. So yeah, but what you say there about your builder is really interesting, because it takes me back probably 15 years or so ago, when I was working as an IT advisor. It wasn't as exciting or as elaborate as a consultant, but it was an IT advisor, and we'd go and visit local companies based in the South Wales area, and some of the prices they were talking about. Actually, I think it was one of the council. It was the council, actually, one of the county councils in the area, and they'd paid thousands and thousands for a website, and they were paying out something like £80 a month for website hosting. And you'd think, well, all right, maybe for a council website, that's not too unheard of, because it'd be a huge website or whatever. But this was back then, so we're only talking a very basic website here, which you could probably put on any sort of shared hosting, which would only cost a few pounds a month. And the way they were talking about the money that was being spent was very casual. Couldn't care less how much it costs. That's just how much it costs. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all with the local businesses who are paying out a lot of money for these services, because they just want somebody else to handle it. They don't want the hassle of having to think about it themselves. I mean, I'm interested, going back to that 10 years when you first encountered Russell Brunson at that conference. I mean, how did that come about then? How did you take those initial steps into online marketing? Because presumably you were busy doing your own businesses at that time.
Yeah, I think, do you know, back in those days, it was probably either on a website or a pamphlet that come through the door, like, make money online or something. And something obviously caught my attention, and I've no idea how I signed up for it, but I went open minded to it because I knew the internet was going to be, I mean, it was already massive, wasn't it, 10 years ago? So you just know that these things are going somewhere. And obviously, Russell's very good with his marketing. I think it was the event that probably was doing the marketing rather than Russell directly. But I turned up with an open mind thinking, I've got to do something with the internet. It's not going away, it's only growing, and building a business online is only going to grow. So unfortunately, yeah, like I say, I think because I just started consultancy at the time as well, that was the bread and butter and still is the bread and butter. So I just put it on pause, put it on hold, and it wasn't going away, and it hasn't gone away. And I'm just looking back now, and I think Russell Brunson is, well, ClickFunnels, I think at last count was worth about 160, 180 million dollars. Russell
Yeah.
himself can't be worth too bad an amount, so he's done all right for himself. Actually, I can't complain. I've done all right for myself. So it's slightly different to Russell, but I'm not going to complain. I've got my health, I've got my kids, and I've got a really comfortable life. I'm happy.
Oh, that's great to hear. Do you remember the sort of things that were talked about 10 years ago? Were they talking about what was going to be the next big thing? And did any of that transpire, if you remember at all?
Do you know what? I really struggle, David, with my memory, and I can't remember the day of the week most of the time, and especially with lockdown, given that we're working from home sometimes, and then is it Thursday? Is it Friday? And but I think it was basically websites and platforms where people membership and things like that from memory. I think it was like getting a community, getting a tribe, and that's still prevalent now. It's still really important now, isn't it? Having a community of people. It might only be 50 people, 100 people, rather than thousands of people like Russell or others have got. But I think it was that concept of having a tribe and a community.
And pushing the continuity payments and having people or a number of people paying you over and over again rather than you having to seek out new customers every month.
Yeah. Do you know, I can't remember when Google came out, but just their whole concept of everything for free, and even now everything for free, it's just incredible, isn't it? And likewise, excuse me, I'm going to cough. Likewise with Facebook, it is basically a website for you, for videos, for audios, for everything. And that concept back then, 10, 15 years ago, was just unheard of. But now actually everybody has to do free pretty much up front, but then everybody's striving for that ongoing either membership or ongoing recurring payment, like you say.
Yeah, it's a tough a tough way of doing things, I think, because there are two schools of thought on it, and depending on which marketer you're listening to, they're either all for the free stuff or they're totally against it, and they want to push a paid product right away.
Can I just add to that point as well? Because with my own email list now and my Facebook group, I'm on all of the social medias, but primarily Facebook. I've built such a relationship and rapport with my audience that actually I'm making far more offers now than I ever did. I used to give out, like, I don't know, Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. It's basically give, give, give before you then promote, like 3 or 4 times of giving. But I'm actually promoting a lot more. But because I'm not doing it in a salesy way, it's just like, hey, here's an opportunity. Anybody want in? If not, they know that I won't then hound them in the back end in messages or whatever to follow up. They'll just read the content. But it's working. Back to your point about I was giving so much free away, and then I'd put an offer out there, and they'd be like, "Whoa, hang on a minute, you don't do offers," and I
Yeah,
didn't
you're
get
my
much.
freebie guy.
Yeah, much traction. So now it's basically jab, 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 right hook. This is coming. This is coming. And then when I make the offer, it's like, look, you know what? This is fantastic. I'll do a live, jump on the live or watch the replay, and I'll give you the inner lift the lid on whatever it is. If it's for you, brilliant. If it's not, absolutely fine too. But I think because of the value and the content, the free content and stuff that I'm doing is all relevant, they're staying. There's not many people running away. So they're not running away because I'm too salesy or pitchy.
Yeah, the way that I like to do it is to create some content so it either tells some kind of story or talk about some personal experience or something like that, and then try and segue that into a soft pitch. So in every piece of content that I create, I'm generally making an offer at the end of it.
And you know what I love about your content as well is the fact that most of the time it's food or it's drink or it's alcohol in your content. So you've got me hooked because I'm a foodie. I like a bit, and then read down, and I'm like, yep, he's made a pitch there. He's made an offer, but it's not salesy. It's not spammy, and you get great results as well.
Yeah, I find it more entertaining doing it that way, and personally interesting for me as well. It's like my creative release rather than just writing a blatant advert day in and day out, because I think that would get quite boring both for me and for my audience as well. So I like to try to keep things entertaining.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I mean, just going back then to when you started taking this a bit more seriously 2 years ago, when you first found out about Aaron Chen. Is that right?
Yes, yeah.
What was he promoting then, which reeled you in?
I think it was like, interestingly enough, it was a YouTube based, uh, it might have been called video domination or something around those lines, where it was learn how to do video marketing with YouTube. He's got a massive YouTube following. I think he had about 7,000 when I started following him already. So that's not bad at all, really. And last count, it was over 20,000. So that's within 2 years. But these things go exponentially, don't they? And
Yeah.
he's doing super well. But it was something to do with video and recording videos for marketing.
Okay. And had you had any experience with video marketing at that point, or was that something that was completely new to you?
Apart from watching YouTube videos for, animals doing stupid things or kids doing stupid things or adults doing stupid things, or music videos. Hardly at all. So it made sense. He gave a free video course away, and his free training made so much sense. And then you see, I don't know about you, but all your listeners, you just seem to go down rabbit holes signing up for all different kinds of subscribe lists because it's like, oh my god, that's the next thing, and it's not quite shiny object, but it's kind of relevant. So I still do that actually, and it's an interesting point because at one point I was thinking, Jesus, my inbox is getting full of stuff that I don't actually, it's not relevant. So you unsubscribe. But here's a tip for the listeners: you can use that for your own marketing, because in my inbox, I'll scroll down, I'll look at headline hooks in the emails, and I'll think, that's hooking me. That's a great headline. And so from that, I'll click on it. I'll click on the web page if there's a link or whatever. And then there's another free, what do you call it? Google extension, Chrome extension, and it screen grabs the web page, and then you can download it as a PDF or a PNG or JPEG. And I go over the copy from these top marketers and look at the message, and there's some crappy ones, obviously, which you think, God, how are they making money from this? It's rubbish, or it certainly wouldn't get me. It's too salesy, too spammy. But so I am still subscribing to stuff, and I don't think it's a distraction. I don't think it's shiny object. I'm thinking with the marketer's head on now, and I'm thinking with the sales head on of how I can model some of those pages and some of those headlines and the content behind it.
Yeah, I do that as well. I've got in my Gmail account now, I've got several folders set up for different marketers. I mean, my personal favorite and the guy who was quite a big influence on me from about 10 years ago was Ben Settle. So I've got a folder for his emails. That's a really good tip as well. If anybody is struggling to write their own headlines or come up with content ideas, then yeah, subscribe to the experts, the people who are doing this stuff for a living. It is also interesting what you say as well, that you click the links in some of the emails and then you read the sales copy and you think that it's rubbish. That was quite interesting, because I think, well, it was enough to get you to click that link in the first place. So that sales copy must be effective to a certain audience, even if it's not quite tailored to you, but it must be good enough to a certain level.
And I think that's exactly the point, isn't it? That I don't know about you, but I've designed funnels, and I've designed the either the Facebook post or wherever, or the email, and then you can look at the stats for everything, can't you now? And you can look at the metrics for where people are dropping off, and so throughout the funnel, I know if the headline's crappy in my emails, that actually hardly any people are reading it and not even opening the email, or it's going into their spam because maybe it's too spammy. So that's a great tip for the headline. And then the actual content, I know whether people are actually reading the content, because then there's a call to action that they'll do something. And I launched a program recently, and I did a screenshot for my group and showed them what was happening in the build up, and momentum was building on the open rates and the click rates in my emails, and so the content was really working. And then the program sold out. I wanted five spots. I was opening up for 5 spots. It went in under 5 hours. So the marketing obviously worked. And so in some of these emails, the hook's great, but then the content within the post, or the content within the email, was less. It turned me off rather than turned me on to know more. So you've got to look at the metrics, haven't you, all the way through that funnel, and each of the touch points with your customer, as to whether things are getting better or getting worse, and just tweak it.
Yeah.
Testing's a big thing, isn't it? I don't know how much testing you do, David, but yeah, it's a big part of what I do.
Yeah. So was that then each point of that funnel, then were you split testing it and refining it along the way, then depending on the statistics that was coming back?
I think, yeah, it's basically the content of the post and the words that I used, and whether it was too aggressive, too passive, or the call to action wasn't strong enough, and they didn't click. And it's just identifying at which part, because if it's in an email sequence, you can't then make the next email similar but not the same. It's got to flow from the day before, so that you're taking them through. Look out for tomorrow's email, and this is what I'm going to tell you. So yeah, there's only so much you can do in emails, but particularly on my Facebook posts. Again, we've talked about this earlier. You can't always rely on the stats from your likes and comments and things like that, because Facebook just doesn't show it sometimes. And they're getting really smart with the algorithms, because if there's anything that says marketing, anything that says sales or whatever, it just gets showed less. And I'm really impressed with the way it works. And I'm going to pay for some ads. I did ads about 18 months ago for just for a freebie launch, and they did all right. I got quite a few opt-ins, and that was the target objective of the ads. But I'd love to be able to just like split test, I don't know, £500 worth or a grand's worth of ads, and just do a test to see if it was much better. And I know, I don't know about you, but I've never done YouTube ads, but somebody was marketing on Facebook this week, saying that the ROI compared with Facebook and YouTube was, I think it was 7 point something percent on YouTube, and it was like 4% or something on Facebook. So it was working much better on YouTube for them. So I love all of this metrics and stats and things like that. And so, yeah, wherever I can, I try and split test stuff. And I think the thing is as well, if people always say, don't they, if you're not making money with organic traffic, then why do you think you're going to make money with paid traffic? And there's some sense in that to a certain extent, but back to the algorithm. it's also blocking you as much as it can as well, because it wants you to pay for ads. It doesn't want to show stuff where you're going to be making money. So I'd love to try it. I might. I'll come back in a year, David, if I've done it. And well, I'm not going to blow a grand, but if I've thrown a few pennies at it and see what the results are, and see if there is a better ROI. Well, I'd like to check YouTube out as well. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that is a good point that you raised there about if anybody is trying to play the organic marketing game on Facebook, where you're using your profile effectively to promote content rather than paying for the advertising. Because of what you said there, where you think that Facebook are blocking you as much as they're promoting you in the newsfeed, I think that's probably why I'm no longer that fussy in writing posts. I remember about 10 years ago, or maybe not as long ago as that, but when I was writing daily emails in my sort of infotainment Ben Settle style, it would take me hours to write an email every day. It was ridiculous. It took me way too long to do it. Whereas now, I shoot to get a post written in a similar style, not as long. I usually aim for about 300 words or whatever, but I try to get that done in about half an hour
Mm.
because, as you say, if Facebook aren't going to show it to everybody, or if they're going to try and hold it back because there's more of a marketing message in there, then there's no point in me wasting 2 or 3 hours on a post where when I could just spend half an hour doing it and get the same sort of results.
Yeah, I was going to circle back to a point that you made earlier on as well, though, about your posts are really entertaining. So you've got endless content, because our life is full of content, isn't it? If we just choose to make them stories and it's interesting for people, people's daily lives can be really interesting and fun. And that's what some people tend to forget, is that, oh my God, I've got to create this value. All right, what does value mean? Value, just to some people, might mean that actually I've had a crap day. This happened to me. This happened like last weekend. I thought I'd got COVID because my mate tested positive. My kids were. I'm not with their mother, but she was taking them on Wednesday. It's Thursday today. Yesterday to Dubai for a holiday, and we had to get tested on Sunday because I thought, oh my God, here we go. And I feel like crap because of this cold and the cough and all of that. I've been putting some of this in my content, so it resonates with people that, yeah, they go through these daily challenges as well, of ups and downs, and they just want to know that, yeah, actually that's funny. And then the way that you steer your posts at the bottom is not salesy or pitchy, but hey, just as an aside, if this is what you want to know more about, drop me a link, drop me a line, sorry, and then we'll hook up. But yeah, there are ways and means of getting around it, and making your posts fun, actually.
Yeah, I think that is lost a lot on, especially on social media. Whereas you think people come on social media for entertainment and escapism, and people aren't giving them that. Some of these value posts where they're trying to teach them some boring, irrelevant
How to
subject,
beat the
and
algorithm.
yeah, and and I mean, nobody comes on social media to feel like they're sat at the front of a classroom with teacher in front of them telling them how thick they are. It's just ridiculous, and I'm so glad I don't do my content that way, because I think I'd bore myself to sleep. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so.
it's true.
But yeah, so I mean, we could use that as a bit of a segue actually into the affiliate marketing side of things now. So when was it that you started doing the organic social media marketing side of things yourself? Was that straight away after you got into this about 2 years ago, or was it more
Mm,
recent?
It was more recent. I don't think I clicked the fact that I could use my Facebook. And actually, I know a lot of people have got a few different accounts, which is against the terms and conditions and all of that. So I never even thought about setting up a separate account on all of the social media channels. So for me, I have only recently started using my profile for marketing. And what I have done is, again, back to the testing and split testing, I've segmented my list of friends now, because I had about 600, 700 friends before I even started marketing. And you know what they say, build it up like 30, 50 people a day. And at one point I had 3,500 people on, and I was just adding everybody, click, 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 add, add, add. And the engagement was going down. They weren't the right kind of people. There was no thought process behind adding them on. I just thought, everybody says, oh, you got to have 5,000 friends. That's the maximum on Facebook. And, your reach will be amazing. Well, it's not actually, because if they're not engaging with you, it's getting lower. So I've trimmed it back down now to, I don't know, I want to say 1900, something like that. And it's fine. I'm getting, actually, if we look back 6 months, 7 months, I had a VA. I was doing amazingly for the likes, the comments, and all of that kind of stuff. 300-400 on some of my posts, and that was daily posts. I've just stepped back from it all now. It's just a grind. That the reach was there, the engagement was there, but it was the good morning, folks. Have a great day, and killing it, keep crushing it. Yeah, great, thanks. But are you going to buy my product? No. so, so I think I've moved back from all of that, and the magic just happens by itself now. I'm targeting the right kind of people before I add them on. I've got a software actually that messages before I even add them on and says, look, you know what? If you're a real person, you'll reply to this rather than just saying thumbs up or hi. Come back with a bit about yourself or whatever. People still come back hi and thumbs up and all that, and I just ignore it. If they then come back, and some other people do come back properly, but if they then come back with something more meaningful, I'll have a proper dialogue and add them on. So I think the organic marketing is probably about I want to say a year, maybe a bit longer, 18 months. But and again, I don't do it every time. I try and do mostly about my life, and mostly about the dog, the kids, the home life, and all of that kind of stuff. And sunsets, sunrises, I love that kind of thing. Food, sometimes food as well, like you. But life in general. And I'm trying to then tweak it like you, with a softly message at the bottom to say, and by the way, if you are interested, here's a link. Well, I don't say here's a link, but put the words to the effect like, where to find me or something like that, to have that softly approach. And so it's working well. It's working much better than it was when I had like 3,500 friends and just blatting the world. I'm having some really deep, meaningful relationships in Messenger and stuff, and they're interested in what I do. And there's a couple of people that are still a bit too pitchy for my liking, but my goal is to actually sell them something. Never buy from them, but sell them something. They can pitch as much as they want, but I'm not going to buy from them. I won't tell them. Hopefully they're not your friends as well. But yeah, they're very good at pitching, as in very tenacious, very they've got the bit behind their teeth, and they do well. But that's not my approach, and it's not yours. I've seen that it's not yours.
Yeah, I mean, just going back a little bit there to where you're going on about the likes and the comments. I think it can be quite easy to be suckered into that side of organic marketing. I know that I used to get really hung up on those numbers myself, and it did take a little while actually to like wean myself off it, and to look at a post and think, well, it hasn't got 150 or 200 likes now, but that's okay. It doesn't matter, because if you look at the comments that were on there, you might have had some decent comments, some longer comments from people who were genuinely interested in the content that you've published. But then there was more than the fair share of the good mornings, the happy Thursdays, the great content type of posts, which don't serve anybody. It's just a total waste of time. And then why would you want to spend your precious hours during the day just commenting the same on their posts just so they reciprocate? It's a huge time suck, and there's no money in it.
It's a huge time suck. And if you think of the old saying, time is money. It's their time posting on everybody's good morning, good morning, good morning, just so that they can then feed the algorithm to get the likes back. But then they've got 200 or 300 comments that they've got to reply to. For what end? Just to show that you've got great organic reach. I was going to say a little bit about somebody that contacted me that hasn't been active on their Facebook profile for about 6 months, a year, but they've just bought from me. So there's the lurkers out there as well that you think, are they actually seeing my stuff? So, I said I was culling my Facebook friends, and across the platforms I have a cull. it can be dangerous sometimes because there are the lurkers there that you don't know that they're watching and looking, but this person just came out the blue and went, "Yeah, I'm interested," and I'm like, "Hello, who are you? I forgot totally who you were." But yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, you do find that though. It is the people who are not necessarily engaging with you on your content, or they're not in your messenger for huge periods of time, but they're always watching. People are always watching. That's the thing with the reach, where you think that you're not getting the reach because people aren't engaging on your posts, because that's really all you've got to go on are the numbers of likes and comments. But people must still be able to see that content, and the buyers are usually the ones who just appear from nowhere, or people who you very really engage with. So yeah, I can totally appreciate that, because I have that quite a lot as well. So it is about getting the balance right. If you're looking to clear out what you call the dead wood, that the people who haven't posted on their own profiles maybe for 6 or 12 months, or who haven't engaged with yours, then yeah, it can be a dangerous game, because if you get rid of them, they're still going to be on other people's news feeds. So you're just making it easier for somebody else's message to be put in front of them. We're doing the organic marketing then, and you're promoting at the moment high ticket affiliate products. Is that right?
I think it's important to make sure that your funnel isn't just about high ticket, because not everybody can afford 3,000, 5,000, $10,000 packages. So what I've tried to do is look across the market in the online space, look at what people need to make a success of the online marketing space. And I've got low, mid, and high ticket, both affiliate opportunities at low ticket, mid ticket, high ticket. Like for example, one of the softwares I've got is an auto poster for happy birthday. So that's not as dangerous. I did have an automated posting software before that posted onto um, any kind of post, but that's dangerous, because if you say, awesome post, and they've just lost somebody's died, then actually you look like a tit, don't you? So I got
Yeah.
rid of that software. But for happy birthday, you really can't get that wrong. So, I've got an automated software which is low ticket. And then likewise, I've got a Facebook hacks program that is $97. It's probably worth 4.97, but it's how to run Facebook as efficiently as possible. Then there's the mid-ticket stuff. I've got a program called the Branding Advantage, which is all about branding yourself, branding business. It doesn't matter whether it's a traditional brick and mortar business or whether it's a solopreneur or whatever. And then mid-ticket around click funnels and other affiliate offers. And then the excuse me, I'm going to cough again. And then the high ticket variants of ClickFunnels and SAA and others, and my own packages like for the builder. So I think it's important to cater for everybody, but they're all congruent's the latest new buzzword, isn't it? They're all congruent because they all work together, they all stitch together nicely. So I think it's important to cater for a lot of different price points.
Yeah, I think that's a good approach, because on Facebook at the moment, we all know that high ticket is the popular thing at the moment. Everybody thinks now that because they've bought this high ticket training program, they've spent whatever it is, $2,000, $3,000 on it, that it's going to be easy to sell it. That there's this endless amount of affluent customers, bearing in mind we're 18 months into a pandemic where people have lost jobs, they've been on extended furlough. There's all these other obstacles have come into play now, compared to what things were like a couple of, well, longer than a couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago now. And it's a lot more difficult than I think people anticipate. The way that it's pitched is that all you need to do is just give a bit of value on your profile, add a few people on the messenger, start up a conversation, and they're going to be throwing their credit card number at you.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
I think this is probably why there is such a high burnout rate, because people can only continue to do that for so long and not make any sales before they think, you know what, this is just too hard. This isn't working. So I need to move on to something else. But if you're going down the route that you're going down, where you've got different products which solve different product problems at varying price points, then you haven't got all your eggs in one basket then. So if somebody who you're talking to you think would be a really good fit for this $3,000 program, but they've made it very clear that they can't afford it, and they're being genuine with that. It's not just one of these stories where you think,
An
well, if
excuse.
yeah, and you think, well, if you want it bad enough, then you'll find the money.
Yeah.
Like you get a lot of people saying
Yeah.
that, and that's simply not true.
Put it on your credit card. No, 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 no.
Yeah, that's terrible advice. But if you've got something at a lower price point, then that you can offer them as a downsell, then that might be a bit more agreeable for them, and at least then you've got the opportunity to work with them and continue that relationship rather than just them either ghosting you because they're fed up of you trying to sell them something they can't afford, or you just binning them off.
You're doing this as well. Where you've got your own products and services that you affiliate as well for other people to. So if we truly want them to succeed, then we've got to help them sell our products. So that's another thing that I've put in place is with one of my programs, I've said, right, okay, 60% commission for you, because if I need to help you succeed, so I can get the social proof then to put out so that other people will buy from me or from you. And so that's a really key thing, isn't it? It's like I could sell them an affiliate opportunity, like you said, $3,000, but I can't guarantee that they're going to get that $3,000 back. Whereas if it's my own program, I've got a vested interest in that, because if they don't succeed, then it's my neck on the line, and actually they'll then get pissed off with me, excuse my French, and you've just got to make it work really for them, and you're more likely to give them the support with your own programs than an affiliate opportunity.
Yeah, I think with that as well, you've also got something that's unique as well. Then that nobody else is promoting. If you're offering it as if you're offering it to affiliates rather, then yeah, they can promote it, but you're the owner of that product.
The
You're
USP.
yeah, you're arguably going to be the best person for them to work with.
Mm.
So I think that puts you in a strong position as well, rather than just being somebody who's promoting the same product that hundreds of other affiliates are promoting, especially if you go in down the social media route where there isn't a huge pool of people really who you can promote to. I know there are millions of users on Facebook, but there are only a certain percentage of those users who are looking for a home-based business opportunity, which is involved in affiliate marketing and who have the financial means to get involved at that higher level. So if you can do anything that can make you stand out and put you as a better option than the hundreds of other very similar marketers, then I think that's gonna stand you in
Totally.
good stead to do that.
Yeah, totally agree.
So just before we finish, I think, because we've been going for about
That went quick.
50,
Wow.
50 minutes. I know
That
that
flew.
went really quick.
I think that's a good sign, right? Is
Yeah,
that a good sign?
I think so. Yeah, I think we've covered some good stuff here about organic marketing. But before we end today, I do want to talk about your book, because you've done loads of stuff so far. You've done the offline stuff, you've done the affiliate marketing, you've created your own products, and now you're writing a book, which you mentioned a little at the start of the episode today. But yeah, can you tell us what the book's all about?
Yeah, so I think it boils down to having credibility and authority as well, and the perception that you are a person of authority. And so a lot of marketers have said this, and guru influencer marketers have said, get to become an author. And then you've got that as an additional leverage to say, hey, I'm a published author. Doesn't matter whether the book's good or bad. Ideally should be a good book so you can get decent reviews on Amazon or wherever. But I've got a few of Russell Brunson's books behind me there, where they do free plus shipping, and this is the kind of opportunity that I wanted to get involved with, to do a book, because and likewise, like we've alluded to, in the online space there's all different kinds of shapes, sizes, colors, creeds, and people, from downright ridiculously stupid, if I'm allowed to say that, to really intelligent people, but they make stupid decisions. Like, they've got the means, they've got the money, and they just throw it at this package, that package, and that package. And it's like, oh, I've spent 30 grand and I'm not making any money yet. Oh, why have you spent 30 grand? The first one would have done all of the others. But so the book's called Tire Kickers and City Slickers, and it's the phases of online marketing. So about a year ago, I was thinking, I need a book. I've got to write a book. What can I do the topic of? And I thought, I know a little bit now about online marketing and affiliate marketing and social media marketing. So I started jotting some notes down, and then it just fell into individual chapters and phases. So phase one is we talked about it earlier, when you start and you think, oh my God, I'm going to be a millionaire next year, Rodney, we'll all be rich. And yeah, your international listeners won't get that to Only Fools
No.
and Horses quote reference. But anyway, so the initial phases are when you get involved, you get all excited about what the possibilities are. And that's, that's not to say that some people don't make that 10 grand a month within a very short space of time, because some do. It's the same with anything in life. There's those people that will do it and majority won't. So it takes time for a lot of people. Let's not be under any illusions that you'll be six-figure earner within a year. Some people do, majority don't. So some people never earn six figures, full stop. So first few chapters are you get involved and you sign up for all those subscribe lists. The bright lights are going off here, there, and everywhere. The shiny object syndrome. So you sign up and you want to get involved in this, left, right, center, and everything. You can do it all. And then you go through phase two, chapter two, whatever. Chapter three is you've got a little bit of experience now, and this is your niche. This is your market. You're focusing in on that. It's health, it's wealth, it's relationships, wherever your focus is. You know what you're doing. You're getting one or two sales, but it's not consistent. Chapters 4, 5 in the middle, you're making consistent sales then, and it goes through the stories of those. And then when you're at those subsequent stages where you get the tire kickers, then there are the newbies that are just basically looking for all of those subscribe lists like we all did when we started off, that just want the free information. They want a six-figure business, but not willing to invest in paid material. I can't remember who said it, but they said when you pay attention. And I like that. I really like that, because
Yeah.
like we were saying earlier on as well about my battery's going to die. We were saying about people that just love the free stuff but don't actually do anything with it. So yeah, so then it gets towards the end of the book and I'm not there, so I don't know quite how I'm going to write this book. But these are the city slickers, like, I don't know, maybe your Jacob Carris's is maybe chapter, I'm trying to think of it in 10 chapters. The chapter 10s are your Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosis and Brendan Burchard's, those big name marketers, Russell Brunson's. So chapter 7, 8, 9, something like that are your Jacob Carris's, and can't remember the guy from Legendary Marketer and all these kind of
Dave
names.
Sharp.
Yeah, they've done 6 or 7, multiple 6 or 7 figures from their businesses. So they're the phases. And if I can get an interview with some of those 7-figure marketers, then I'll probably get them in to give a little bit of an insight into those chapters. But I'm halfway through. It's gone on hold because I've had a really busy summer, and there's been lots going on with properties and things and the daytime consultancy. So it's just been put on hold. You can't do everything. And like you were saying, we just burn out if we try and do everything too quickly. So it's coming. It will be possibly finished by the end of the year written, but then I need to read it and just make sure it is actually worthy and people are interested in buying it. But when I've mentioned it on people's posts, they're like, yeah, put me down for a copy for that. And again, it might be that it's a free plus shipping. I'll give the book away for free for the first 50 or 100 just to get the testimonials. All they pay for is like the shipping or whatever. But fingers crossed, it'll be coming soon.
Yeah, that sounds really good, actually. Really interesting to break that down over 10 sections as well. So I'll look forward to getting a copy of that myself, and I'll have a read of that. So that's going to be, I suppose, your thing that you're going to be working on for the immediate future between now and the end of the year to get that done. What would your plans be then for the next 12 months then after that?
So I think the rest of this year also is I've started a program where I'm doing a monthly relaunch, and that's going to be the focus for the next 3 months for the end of the year, with the book writing in between. So it's my own program maybe some affiliate marketing on the side as well. But I've got a lot of ideas buzzing around in my head, as we all have, but it's making them happen. And it's not the money necessarily, it's having the time and the energy to do it all and maintain the audience that you've got. So rest of this year will be a bit of the book, as well as the relaunches, and then next 12 months probably, excuse me a second, I didn't mention, but I've got an interview series that I started 2 years ago called Back to Your Future, to
Brilliant.
play on words with the film Back to the Future, where I've taken 20 entrepreneurs and I've said to them, right, tell me where you are, a bit like this interview. How'd you get here? And what's the next 5 years? And they're like, 5 years, Jesus. So then I interview them again each year for 5 years. And I've just done a half of year two, and I've lost three people already. Three
Wow.
people from the 20 either ignored me or said, it might even be four people. Three people have said not interested, or don't want to do it anymore, or just ignored me. So yeah, it's there'll be a focus on getting that out there as well, because I want to continue that for the 5 years. Even if I don't continue the online marketing, I just want to see that through, because that's something you could see on telly, really. If the interviews are any good,
Yeah.
it's like a Netflix.
Yeah, it reminds me of that series they do on TV here in the UK, where they followed, whether it was a set of twins or triplets or something, and they've been following them for about 40 years, you know, chronicling their life. And yeah, that sort of thing is absolutely fascinating. So yeah, I hope that you'll be able to see that through, because that would produce some very interesting results. So yeah, please carry on with that.
Yeah, definitely. And there's been some interesting characters on there. So um, we've got The Apprentice in the UK, haven't we? And I interviewed Mark Wright, who was winner of the 2016 Apprentice, I think. And he was the first apprentice to take Alan Sugar's 250 grand to 1 million within a year. And he does social media marketing.
Oh
So I went
wow.
down to his
Okay.
offices in London, and we were chatting, and interviewed him in his office. And then I've just done year two with Mark, virtually because of lockdown and that. But interestingly, he said this year has been absolutely phenomenal for business. Last year was tough. He had offices in Bristol and Manchester. He's closed those down now because he's just gone to a centralized hub in London. But he said business is booming. People are beginning again to pay for marketing and advertising, and more power to him. So that's the Back to the Future series. But I also just want to focus on building out my own programs and coaching programs as well. And I need to. I think, it's about knowing our worth, isn't it, as well? And so some of these low ticket offers that are like 50 quid, 100 quid, or whatever, I want to move away from those a little bit. But, back to the point we said earlier about not everybody's got 2, 3, 4, 5 grand, but they might have £100 a month or $100 a month. So a recurring revenue stream or a membership for me is something that I want to explore. It's just, what can you do for that $100 a month?
Yeah, that's definitely something worth considering as well. That sounds like a good idea, especially if you've got a lot of the content already created. Then it would just be looking at how best to work that into a recurring membership site. So I'm sure a man of your caliber will come up with something between now and the end of next year, definitely to get that into practice. Okay, so just before we wrap this up, then, if people want to get in touch with you, they want to find out more about you, where's the best place for them to do that?
I'm not giving them my home address, if that's what you mean. No, I'm joking. So the best place is my Facebook profile, Martin Price. I don't know if you can find me with Martin Price easily. I'm sure I'm out there, but I've got a Facebook group too, which is called What Online Global. But I am on the other social media channels, and now depending on what business you're in, I think they work better for certain businesses. Like, for example, the guy that designed Hera Closing, Hera, comes from Cheltenham apparently, and he's massive on Instagram because it's designer stuff. It's visual. But yeah, this is why I've got this T-shirt on. What? Because I've got a couple of companies that are called What Online or What Online Global. So hence the what. And so Facebook is my primary platform, even though I'm on the others. And yeah, you'll find me with Martin Price. But my website is called What Online Global, if you want to have a look at that too.
Yeah, no problem. So I'll link those in the show notes as well, so people won't have to spend half a day searching through the 500,000 Martin Prices who are
Yeah,
probably in the search results there.
yeah,
Okay, that's been absolutely fascinating, Martin. Thank you so much for coming on the episode. I've really enjoyed the chat here about all things organic marketing, and it sounds like you got a lot going on between now the end of the year and going into next year as well. So I wish you all the best with all of that, and please do let me know when your book is released, because I'd like to have a read of that myself.
wonderful. Thank you so much
Okay,
for having me on.
my pleasure. Speak to you soon. Please visit internetmarketingreveal.com and davidwalker.net for more free content. If you need a domain name for your business, visit domainsreveal.com, where you'll find more than 1,000 premium domains. And finally, please rate and review this podcast. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.